Greetings to our dearest panelists. We are here to present to you our study entitled Development and Evaluation of Two Highlighter Marker Inks Using Organic Ingredients in Three Formulations. Highlighters are mostly used by teachers and students when they are studying. They put highlighters on their notes to give a guide in which words or phrases are important. On the other hand, highlighters are also used by some artists with their masterpieces. Highlighters give vibrant colors that are pleasing to the eyes and catches the audience's attention. However, as technology advances, people are becoming more conscious of health. Synthetic inks have certain drawbacks such as health risk and environmental concerns. These inks frequently feature a mercury component and are refined using crude oil. These inks frequently feature a mercury component and are refined using crude oil. This waste has contributed to smog, ozone issues, and other climate disorders. This mercury-based component is a substance that is harmful to human beings. The importance of using organic highlighter marker inks or organic substances for ink is to maximize the usage of natural resources in a safer way, harm-free for all cost users. These natural ingredients undergo in drying process, which will be later on undergo in grinding, filtering, and mixing process in order to produce the organic highlighter marker inks. After this process, it will undergo the product evaluation, which is drying or testing its drying time and bleeding. Objectives of this study. The study aimed to develop and evaluate the quality characteristics of two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulations. Specifically, the study aimed to first evaluate the acceptability level of the three groups of respondents in the quality of the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulations in terms of the following ISO standard 9957 to the series of 2019 quality standards for ink, which is line width, optical density, dry time, fade resistance, odor, determine the significant difference between the evaluation of the three group of respondents on the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients. Third, estimate the total cost of production of the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulations. And lastly, or number four, gather feedback and suggestions from the respondents in terms of the developed product.
Materials and method. In materials and method, the materials are portioned into three categories in accordance with their classification. The raw materials, mixing tools, and equipment. In raw materials, we have glutarate turmeric and 70% ethyl ethanol alcohol. Under mixing tools, in the other side is beaker, stirring rod, and syringe. And lastly, for our equipment is a grinding machine or a blender. Methods. As we see on the diagram on how our organic highlighter marker ink was produced, the process starts with the preparation of everything, in a single detail including ourselves. Washing and sanitizing of the raw ingredients, peeling and chopping for turmeric, and removing unwanted things in a glutarate before it was subjected to drying. After preparing the process, proceed on the drying of raw materials. Glutarate and turmeric have their own different composition of drying time. In turmeric, it takes 1 to 2 days. However, a glutarate just need a single day to make the desired dryness. When it is ready for crushing, the grinding process will occur. Using a grinding machine blender, place inside the dried raw ingredients by maximum power of blender. The raw ingredients will become fine, pulverized in a couple of seconds. After it pulverized, it is now subjected to the filtering and mixing of 70% ethyl ethanol alcohol and raw ingredients in a beaker. By using syringe, we will going to zip the mixed formula and place it inside the 6 milliliter container with a chisel type tip. After development, we were going to subject the two different formulation in 30 respondents using a Likert scale 5.0.
Results and discussion. The evaluation of the acceptability of the developed two organic highlighter marker inks in terms of the ISO 99572 series of 2019 quality standards for ink. Formulation Model 1 glutarate. It can be gleaned that all the respondents rated the highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients as per acceptable, as specified by its overall weighted mean of 4.86. However, the respondents group differ in the rating for each quality standard, wherein the Minsui student gave the highest rating in terms of dry time, with an average of 5, as well as the Minso faculty members got the same average in terms of dry time. Professional draftsman women got the three highest rating in terms of the following quality standards: dry time, fade resistance, and odor. This implies that the three groups of respondents have quite diverse levels of acceptability in terms of the ISO 99572 series of 2019 quality standard for ink because of the preference of the respondent for each quality standards for organic highlighter marker ink. These results were supported by the blog website Askinlaw 2022, which mentioned that alcohol ink can dry rapidly depending on how much it's diluted to its constituents. Furthermore, the ambient temperature and materials you're dealing with affect the drying duration of alcohol solution. The ambient mode of environment leads to the highlighter marker inks dries quickly. In formulation model 2, Blue Ternate, it shows that all respondents rated the highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients as very acceptable as indicated by its overall weighted mean of 4.88. The student and the faculty members rated the highlighter marker inks using Blue Ternate in terms of dry time, the highest which detained 5 and is very acceptable. However, professional draftsman women rated the highlighter marker inks using Blue Ternate in terms of fade resistance and odor, the highest with an average of 5, and it's very acceptable. While faculty members rated the highlighter marker inks using Blue Ternate in terms of odor, the highest, which resulted with an average of 5, and it's very acceptable. Researchers found out that optical density and line width got the lowest rating among the ISO quality standards for ink because of the vividness of the color become lighter when it dries and the ink is spreading on paper when applied. The results were explained by Shader 2021 in the article entitled Plants Have Ink Properties, which tackles chemical compound sets or fixes the color in the paper that affects the optical density and the fair distribution of the colors that affect the line width. Simulation model 3, Blue Ternate. Table shows that all respondents evaluated the organic highlighter marker ink as very acceptable, as shown by the overall weighted mean of 4.85. The total weighted mean of 4.84 indicates that the Minso student respondents found the product to be very acceptable. Similarly, the Minso faculty members gave the product as very acceptable, rating with an average weighted mean of 4.84. And professional draftsman woman gave it a very acceptable rating with an average weighted mean of 4.88. Nevertheless, all the three group of respondents found an attribute that needs to be improved in this formulation model, and it is optical density. The overall weighted mean of optical density is 4.69, and compared to the rest of the attributes, it has the lowest rate. The researchers found out that the optical density got the lowest rating among the ISO quality standards for inks because of the proper mixing of the ingredients and compound that affects the color of the highlighter and become worse of giving absolute optical density after applying on the paper. This result were explained by Sarkar 2022 in his study, which discusses that the amount and color of light absorbed or transmitted through the solution are proportional to the concentration of the pigment particles present in it. Such measurements will rely on detecting the concentration of material, color, and pigment in solution that mainly affects the optical density for the consistency of the color when it applied on the paper. In terms of the general acceptability, as you can see on the presentation, formulation model 1 got the lowest score from the three group of respondents. It illustrated by the weighted mean of 4.45 from the Minso students, 4.20 from the Minso faculty members, and 4 for the professional draftsman woman. The results gathered from the evaluation of formulation model 1 were affected by the low overall weighted mean of 4.71 given by the Minso students, faculty members, and professional draftsman in terms of optical density. However, among the three formulations, formulation model 2 got the highest score from the three group of respondents with an overall weighted mean of 4.73. This result is parallel connected to the ISO 99572 series of 2019, which the specified requirements and test conditions for water-based non-India inks intended for use on natural tracing paper, and also specifies the quality requirements of water-based non-India in such as line width, optical density, time, fade resistance, and odor. These variables affected the acceptability level of the respondents. This implied that the three group of respondents have quite distinct levels of acceptability because of the preferred or the preference of the respondents in terms of the odor.
In formulation model 1 for turmeric, it can be gleaned that all the respondents graded the highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients as very acceptable, as shown by its overall weighted mean of 4.86. All the three groups of respondents got the highest rating in terms of dry time, with an overall weighted mean of 5. The composition of the components in highlighters influences their performance according to Tanish. It is a great factor for a highlighter to have the right composition to achieve a fast drying time and increased marker efficacy. Formulation model 2 shows that with the gathered weighted mean of 4.80 from the means of students, 4.91 from the means of faculty members, and 4.94 from the professional draftsman and draftswoman, all the three groups of respondents graded the highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients as very acceptable, as shown by its overall weighted mean of 4.88. Hence, a low rate was given by the students in terms of evaluating the optical density of formulation model 2, which has a weighted mean of 4.63. This was supported by an article of Singhe, where color pigments from turmeric and other plants must be visible enough for light to bounce and be appraised by our eyes and minds. Another factor that influences the optical density of NEU is precise formulation of the components that will be employed. Formulation Model 3 shows that the collected weighted mean of 4.84 from the means of students and the means of faculty members, and 4.88 from the professional draftsman and draftswoman, the three group of respondents rated the highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients as very acceptable, as presented by its overall weighted mean of 4.85. Majority of the three group of respondents got the highest rating in terms of odor with an overall weighted mean of 4.99. It was seen from the three formulations above that formulation model 2 got the lowest score from the three group of respondents. It is illustrated by the weighted mean of 4 from means of students, 4.60 from the means of faculty members, and 4.40 from the professional draftsman and draftswoman. The table shows the general acceptability of turmeric that show distinctiveness in terms of their evaluation on the general acceptability of turmeric in three formulations by the three groups of respondents. The acceptability level of formulation model 2 by the three group of respondents was affected in terms of the line width. Based on the tabulated results, the means of students gave the lowest rating with an average weighted mean of 4.66 among the three groups of respondents in terms of evaluating the line width. This was because the students found an issue when it comes to the consistency of the line width of the marker's ink when applied to paper, which was supported by Bosley when he mentioned in his article that distinct factors can affect the line width of the markers, and one of the factors is the proper nib type of the marker. He added that it is recommended to use proper nibs to be able to achieve a desirable result when using a marker. There is a significant difference between the evaluation of the three group of respondents on the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulations in terms of line width, optical density, dry time, fade resistance, and odor, as evidenced by the computed p-value of 0.046372353, which is lower than 0.05 level of significance using the degree of freedom of 12.
Of the study, the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients are very acceptable. The Minso students, the Minso faculty member, and professional draftsmen from the Calapan City. There is a significant difference between the evaluation from the three groups of respondents because the p-value is less than the significance level of 0.05 using the degree of freedom of 12. The total cost production of the developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulations appeared to be worth 1,177.84 pesos. The developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulation could be improved following the suggestions and comments of the evaluators. The developed two highlighter marker inks using organic ingredients in three formulation should be presented to all MINSU students, MINSU faculty members, and professional draftswomen from them to be aware of the said study. Maximize the use of different colorant components to create a variety of color organic inks. Consider the use of alternative ingredients to ethanol compounds to develop authentic organic inks. Consider using more inventive processing equipment to create a superior product mixture that Consider using more inventive processing equipment to create a superior product mixture that can aid in the simple extraction of the color. MINSO should encourage other technology faculty members that conduct other relevant researchers that will benefit the interest of the students and the community. Future researchers should be conduct more developmental research so as benefit the technology teachers and society. The college and the department should be provide additionally financial assistance to future researcher to meet a good quality and standard of the product.